I was born in Dominion, November the 6th, 1921. I lived in Dominion. I was been in Dominion except during war years. I was in the Navy during the war years. I always said if I got my feet back in Dominion, they're going to stay there. All my friends quit school before they were grade 8. They thought I was well educated. I went as far as grade 11. But I stopped there. But all we wanted to do was get work and sport. We lived for sport. I went back to the coal mine for a while. And then I got married in 1952. And then I went in the post office. I qualified for the postmaster job there. And there was there was veterans preference. Because you were a veteran, they gave you a little more attention. Good job they did. Dominion is a very small community. Everybody had to go to the post office to get their mail.
Yes.
No mail delivery. Waterford was the biggest town that had mail delivery. New Waterford, they were at that time were about 11,000.
Okay.
So they qualified for mail delivery. Anything smaller than that, everybody had to go to the post office. The largest population we had was 3181. But I had captive clientele there in the post office. They'd come, everybody, when they retired from the mines, they'd come to the post office and have great chats. And I would tape their lives, and I'd go around the town in the car. And we go different streets and different people. They tell me exactly who lived there, when they went there. That gave me community history. It was a captive clientele, I guess. That gave me the opportunity to see everybody, meet everybody, and talk to them. I would notarize their documents and do a lot of their papers for them for that purpose. They, in return, would give me pictures and cooperate completely. So it was a good exchange. Well, I was involved with local community history. That was my main injury, because we had a lot of local community history. I would interview all the citizens and get their stories, and then I would write about them. But it was very interesting, and I was well positioned to interview everybody. Coal mining was everything here.
Yes.
Well, Dominion is old, as I mentioned before. See, the General Mining Association, the GMA, London, England. They started in Sydney mines in 1827. Then in 1829. They moved across the water right here below where we are here. They started in the cliff there they started the General Mining Association in 1830. That started in Dominion that's where Dominion started. And that's when we had the first railroad going across. The first railroad here was going across the Dominion Beach.
Okay.
It was a horse-drawn railroad. The beach is 1.25 miles long, and they had a railroad going across there put by the horses. And at the Sydney Harbour on the Dominion side of it, they had a shipping pier there for them to load the coal in the ships, and they sent it off. But that was the GMA, that was their early start there. Yeah, that's why it's an early community. For the General Mining, and then Mitchell Mine, the first mayor in Dominion was Fred Mitchell. His father took over the mine and became the Mitchell Mine. Then they sold out to the Dominion Coal Company for 1892, and it all went into the Dominion Coal Company. Then the Dominion Coal Company collieries, the first colliery started here. We were Dominion number 1. That's where we got our name. We're called after the Dominion Coal Company.
That's right.
We were incorporated in 1906, and we took the Dominion. And that was in the mine over right behind us here. That was number 1. The mines were dangerous then. I worked a short time in the mine, then I worked for a while on the surface also. My father was with the Dominion Coal Company stores, called the Pluckney stores. You're familiar with them? He was a clerk. He had a very good job. His brother was general manager of the Dominion Coal Company stores. The 1925 strike killed all that. They burnt the coal company, the stores. They burned them all except the one in Dominion. The one in Dominion, they set fire to it, but they put it out right away. The UMW office was upstairs in the building, so they salvaged the thing there. But that ended the coal company stores. He worked a short time in the mines, but he just wasn't ready for the mines. He was a little bit nervous for that kind of thing. He didn't stay with it. He worked in the stores after that. I did that monument down on the corner. There's 102 names on that. And they all lived in Dominion. So I researched all the mine fatalities dating back to 1840, when the General Mining Association were here. In 1840, a 13-year-old son of one of the officials was killed in that mine. He was the very first mine fatality. In 1840, he was 13. But ours were almost individual. 2 was the most in the mine fatalities. Yeah, well, when I wrote the book, I knew the building, it had been a school, and then it became a canteen operation. And in one of my books, I mentioned that it had been a school from 1884 till the coal company took over. They had to close that school. They built a school in Dominion, the old Central School in Dominion. They built it in 1895. Because the little school, where it's our museum now, it was much too small. And that's where that all started. From the school only went up to grade 10. Then it was scheduled to be knocked down. The province took it all over. The town was managing that beach. Then the Nova Scotia government took over that whole area. So they took over that period, that place where our museum is. So we went through the town council and asked them to apply for us to open a museum there. And they wrote in, and they let us rent the space for the museum, and that's been there ever since. But it's only a summer museum, because after July and August, going into September, the tourism falls off altogether, pretty much. So we're seasonal. Well, I collected them, I got them, and people would donate them. School registers that going back to 1830. I list them in my book, the students that were here in 1832. They're all in my books there. The purpose of the Schoolhouse Museum? Yes. Well, it's very interesting for tourism, for tourists that come here, people that come home, and they're interested. They're interested very much in pictures. I'm convinced that they don't want a book that's a book. They want something there's a picture and a story with it. I'll never write a book. I'll write a book with the pictures related to the stories, and that's my thing. I was with the credit union for 35 years. I was with the fire department for 50 years. I'm on the board of Seaview Manor when we opened it 34 years ago. I've been there ever since. I was treasurer of the Miners Museum in Glace Bay for quite a while. So it was interesting. It was something to do. Well, I get questions all the time. There's an argument in the tavern. There's an argument in the tavern, I get the call. Well, I think the history is worthwhile. The history is worthwhile. For me, it is anyway. But the wonderful people, there's wonderful people. The satisfaction I get from doing it, that's worthwhile. It's not monetary, it's not that, it's the satisfaction. And it's the friends of the people you do, Yeah. It's just the finest place in the community, in the province.